Welcome to this practice. We'll be demonstrating how you move between asana, pranayama, and meditation, and specifically how pranayama becomes a gateway to meditation if yoga asana has been suitable enough to recalibrate the prana in your body. Having your prana or your energy be dysregulated, it can be hard to simply sit still for meditation. However, using the technologies of asana yoga poses, you can help to balance the prana throughout your body. And when that becomes more balanced, pranayama is easier to do. And when pranayama is more effective, meditation is more natural. So let's go to the practice and you can explore it for yourself right then and there. Thanks for being here. Notice over here, that's a baby panda. Her name is Panda because as a kitten, and still now her markings looked like a panda bear. So her name is Panda. For those of you who saw her face, maybe straight on, you could see she looks a little bit like a raccoon or a panda. You want to say hi? No, you're really captivated by your job. She has to supervise the birds. So good morning. Welcome for practice time. So in this particular set for pranayama, we're going to go through a process based on the koshas, the model of the koshas. So moving from asana to pranayama to meditation. And we'll do that process several times. So you get to cycle through it, where you experience how asana prepares you for pranayama, and then pranayama prepares you for meditation. So let's start with a comfortable seat. You can rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. Reach up through the crown of your skull and drop down into your hips. And in between those 2 points, lengthen your spine while also relaxing the outer body. And then as you're arriving, simply take note on the arrival process. Take note of the things you're experiencing, like the physical sensations of your body, the quality of your mind, the pace of your breathing. And if you had like a mental compass, you can ask, like, where is it pointing to right now? And that is only a question that you can answer. Where is the mental compass pointing to? And then support your mind, that is your habit mind, the one that wanders about. Let's support that aspect of your mind to come into the present moment more deliberately. So without need of opening your eyes, you can take notice of the light against your face. Become aware of the sounds that are in your environment. And bring awareness to the air on the skin of your body, the temperature of the environment that you're in. You can include in your awareness any fragrance or aroma that's in your environment. And then the physical sensations of where you are connected to the ground beneath you. As you're making connections with each of those senses, it is seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, you might also then acknowledge if there's any flavor or taste on the tongue. So even the most subtle or less obvious sensation gets included. And as each of your 5 senses come into the present, you can let them know that right now you're neither seeking nor grasping, nor avoiding nor resisting. You can watch the sensations coming and going, not needing any one thing to remain the same, and knowing that everything is ever changing. So let your senses come back home. They're not out in the marketplace of the mind. The light on your face, the sound in your environment, the air against your skin, any flavor in the mouth, the sensations of being connected to the ground beneath you. As you notice those things, do so without narrating your experience to yourself and without judging any aspect of your experience. You can even practice releasing the habit of preference. And please raise your hands to your heart. You have a little bit of information from your body, a few minutes of research there about your relationship to sensations and your relationship also to concentration and to the present moment. So as we embark on the practice to help make meditation more accessible and easeful, we'll begin with a chant where we say, Sahana vavatu, sahano bunaktu, saha vidyang karava vahai, tejasvina vadhi tamastu, ma vidvesha vahai. Means together as we're practicing, may the practice be protective. May it nourish us. May it strengthen us. So we have the vigor needed for the journey ahead, for the studies that we're embarking on. And may our studies help us to overcome tamas and to return to tejas, to the light or the luminosity. And as we practice, may we not feel impatient with ourselves or each other along the way. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Punaktu Saviryang Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma vidveshavai. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Punaktu Saviryang Karavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma vidveshavai. Om Sahana Tu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karava Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidveshavai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah Hari Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and open your eyes. So in this first kind of surveying of your capacity to be present in the here and now, to sort of take notice in a gentle sensory scan. What are the five senses experiencing right now? You also got to notice your capacity for concentration or presence or non-judgment or non-clinging. And all of those are qualities of mindfulness. There's more qualities than that, but just to get a sense of when you first sit down and you're noticing those things, a little bit like doing a sensory scan or checking the dashboard on your car. How are things going? And can we bring our mind into the present moment through the portal of the senses? Since your senses only experience the data of the present moment in the present moment. We add memory from another part of the mind and the brain, and it becomes a body memory. But we add that memory of different senses, like the sense of smell, something that you're very fond of as a smell, or the sense of sound. We add memory. We know that's a car or a leaf blower, for example. So we're going to practice coming back to sort of the raw experience of the sensory scan. As we practice now asana, pranayama, meditation, we can check back in and see, do we have an increased capacity for being in the present moment? So as you're sitting, please come to a cross-legged position where you have your ankles crossed. It's called sukhasana. Sukha means ease, or sukhasana can mean easy pose. Doesn't mean that it's easy, it means that it's a simple pose. You're just crossing your ankles. You're not putting a leg behind your head, for example. Then bring your left hand, across to your right knee. Try to put the back of your hand around the outside of your knee. And the back of the hand, because as you do that, you can keep the shoulder rolled a little bit open, lift your chest up, walk your right hand behind, and please twist to your right. You can look over your right shoulder. And then encourage the breath to drop down into your lower abdomen. So even though you've put a little compression in the spine by twisting, and you've got a little bit of pressure or resistance at the chest and the diaphragm, try to allow the breath to make its way down into the lower abdomen and into your pelvis. And exhale thoughtfully and completely. So there's tone in the base of the belly. And then inhale one more time. Good. And exhale, rotate around to face forward. And bring the back of your right hand to the outside of your left knee and slide that across. You've got the shoulder still open. Lift your chest and your collarbone. Walk your left hand behind you and twist to your left. You can look over your left shoulder. And again, allow the breath to find its way down into the pelvis, into your lower abdomen. And be deliberate and thoughtful about toning the lower belly throughout the exhalation. Don't make the most vigorous tone only at the end of the exhale, where you're sort of waiting to the last moment. So one more exhale. and rotate around to face forward. Notice if there's like a little bit of brightening for your energy or your system. Okay, and then take the feet into, it's called Siddhasana. So line up your ankles to the best of your ability. So you've got the pubic bone is centered, and then you've got one heel in front of the other heel. Okay, bring your right hand down to the floor beside you. Please raise your left arm up overhead and reach past your left ear. Now, of course, if sitting on the floor like this is uncomfortable, you modify. You can raise your hips up with a couple of blankets and then do your best to cross the feet like I've done here. You might support your knees with blankets as well. But the idea here is that you have a stable base, a wide enough stable base that you can keep your left hip grounded as you bring the breath into the lower abdomen, mid-torso, upper chest, and heart. We are deliberately side bending on the right, so make it a C shape. Opening the left side torso is important, but so is squeezing the right lower belly. You're squeezing where the ascending colon is. Do one more inhalation. Reach from your left hip down into the earth and your left arm across the horizon. And then exhale and float yourself back up to center. Okay, place the left hand on the floor to your left. Sweep your right arm up alongside your right ear. And as you side bend, go ahead and keep the left arm straight. So you're really encouraging a C curve here versus bending the arm and kind of slouching over. So keep your left arm strong. You might choose to look up past your right arm. You might choose to look on the horizon just straight ahead. You could also choose to look down. It's going to be based on the preference of your neck. Press into your right hip, down towards the earth. Encourage the breath to go from the low pelvis to your mid-torso and up into your chest and your heart. And then with an exhale, bring yourself back up to center, using the low abdomen to stabilize your torso on the way up. Rest both hands in your lap. You notice that you're likely already making a difference in terms of how much physical and mental presence you have just by doing these two simple yoga poses. So I'd like us now to scooch the blanket out of the way, or the blankets plural if you're using more than one. And you can have your knees bent, feet on the floor in front of you, flat, like this. Okay, so in this position, place your feet so they're hip distance apart. Turn your fingers to point towards your hips. Press down through the knuckles of your fingers and then into the heels of your hands. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest and your heart. Open your throat. Okay, so we had a little twist. We had some side bending. This is back bending or spinal extension. As you raise up through your heart, squeeze your shoulders back. Draw the shoulder blades down your upper back. And breathe from the low pelvis to your mid-torso up into your heart. And then exhale, go ahead and look forward. And now I'd like you to bend the elbows so that you're going to bring your torso back a little bit, scooch the hips forward, and stretch into the shoulder girdles. So keep the elbows bent, slide the shoulders straight back towards the wall behind you. And then try lifting your chest and heart in spite of the tension that you might feel in the shoulders. Lift the heart up slightly, squeeze the shoulders back a little bit, hug the elbows in towards each other. And see if you can again encourage a deep breath from the pelvis to the mid-torso up into your heart. Okay, and then slowly straighten your arms, rise up to sitting, sweep your arms out over your knees, gently bow your head. So the circulation that's going to go down your arms now is a change of circulation for your body from the pose we were just in. So your body's recalibrating from, let's say, a sympathetic mode to a parasympathetic mode. Okay, and then again, place yourself so your feet are hip distance apart, the knees are bent. This time come upright. You can place your hands out over your shins. Inhale, roll up to a kind of cow pose position, spinal extension. Exhale, roll down into a kind of cat pose position, spinal flexion. Inhale, roll up at your own pace. Exhale, curl down. Inhale, roll up slowly. And exhale to curl down. Of course, at your own pace, the length of your breath cycle. Let's do that twice more. And then roll up to your seat. Bring your blanket back into position under your hips. Step the right foot in close, take your left leg out straight. And then wrap your left hand around your right knee and walk your right hand to a place on the floor behind you. And please twist to your right. So this twist includes more flexion than the other twists. It's because your thigh is up closer to your torso. Lift your heart and the crown of your skull as you're twisting, but also keep your hips and your pelvis stable. And then check once more if you can bring the breath into the pelvis, mid-torso, chest, and heart. So the inhale has those kind of three regions to explore. With your exhale, tone your lower abdomen during the exhalation, not waiting till the end to kind of over squeeze the belly. Now, if you'd like to, you can cross your left arm to the outside of your right leg. Sometimes people bend the elbow and it looks beautiful. You can decide for yourself if that's enough kind of traction or connection between your outer arm and your outer thigh. For me, it's a more powerful position to keep my arms straight. You can decide for yourself. And then rotate back around to face forward. Stretch out through your right leg and bring the left knee up. Wrap your right hand around your left shin and walk the left hand behind you. Please twist to your left. And then practice again that the breath starts in the lower belly, moves to the mid-torso, and up into your heart. If you'd like to, you can cross the right arm to the outside of your left leg. Enjoy one more breath cycle. And then exhale to unwind and return to your seat that you use for meditation or pranayama. So as you come to your seat, the idea is find your place where you're going to then be stable from asana into pranayama and then directly into meditation. So we just did a little bit of moving of prana in your body by the squeezing and a twist, the side bend, the back bend, a little bit of forward bending. And so a twist again. We're moving prana about in the body to hopefully to rebalance it. So now I'd like you to rest your hands out over your knees and just notice what's different for you in your physical body. And you're welcome to close your eyes. And now we're going to practice a technique that helps to shift the O2 CO2 ratio in your blood cells in your body. It's 5 strong exhales, 1 long exhale. And then we're going to inhale and momentarily hold the breath, and we'll exhale to release. At the bottom of the exhale, you want to completely relax. So that'll be 1 round, and then we'll repeat that a couple of times. So it goes like this. Then you inhale through the nose. Hold for a moment. And then exhale through the nose. And completely relax. So that's 1. It's a demonstration. Let's do 3 of those. Each of us, as we do, has to be at our own pace. But after 1 round, you totally relax and then do the next round. Okay, so something like this. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And then round number 2 when you're ready to, in your own timing. One more round in your own timing. And then we practice deeply relaxing. Let your body recalibrate. And then in a moment, we'll move to the Ujjayi Pranayama, where you're making a whispering sound. It's very subtle in the inner ear. And you're doing that by opening the back of the throat as if you were yawning or whispering. Right? So the feeling is going to be that the Ujjayi comes in and out through the throat. It's directed by the throat. Of course, the air is coming and going through the nose. So now what you're going to do is place the tip of the tongue behind the top two teeth. Make the back of the throat hollow by dropping the base of the tongue down. And then as you inhale, sense the sort of whispering quality of the breath passing by the inner ear. As you exhale, sense the whispering quality of the breath, again passing by the inner ear. There'll be very little sensation actually in the sinuses or the nostrils, because the primary sensation will be in your throat. Now aim to balance your inhale with your exhale. So you don't have to choose a really long pace, but let's say it's a count of 4 or 6 or 10 or 12, whatever it might be. Balance the in-breath with the out-breath without causing yourself to feel breathless. So no over-efforting or striving. At the end of the next exhale, completely relax the breath and simply notice if your mind feels more present, if meditation would feel more natural to you. Notice if your senses feel naturally more inward. If your mind wanders away from the inwardness of the senses, quietly bring it back. Listen for the inner stillness, the space beneath thoughts. And appreciating yourself for this even short practice now, turn onto your yoga mat in table pose. And if you'd like, you can use a blanket for the knees. You're going to have a little bit of padding. And so these are called vignettes. When you have like a little short practice like that, it's a vignette, and it takes you from asana to pranayama to meditation. Now, we spent more time in asana because it's the dense physical body. And sometimes in the morning, for most of you, you've just awakened. I had my practice a couple hours back. But in the morning, the dense body can feel more dense. So we're moving the energy of sleep, the tamas, to prepare for sattva. And we're doing this at sunrise. You can sense the sun is rising just outside this window right here, actually. So now we're going to go to a simple practice, may feel familiar to you like the other poses did. And then we'll come back for pranayama and see what meditation feels like again. So come into a hands and knees position. You can take your glasses off if you're wearing glasses. And then in hands and knees in table pose, place your hands so they're shoulder width apart. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your spine into cow pose, tone the low belly. And then as you inhale, you're going to press into cat pose. I know that'll sound backwards to some of you. So as you inhale, press into cat pose. So you're broadening the back of the body, filling it up like a parachute. And then as you exhale, come through into extension spine, into cow pose. And inhale to cat. Exhale to cow pose. Start from your sitting bones and your tailbone. Glide through, open the chest and the heart. Inhale to cat. Now exhale to child's pose. Squeeze the breath out using child's pose. Inhale, roll up to cat pose. Exhale, roll forward to cow pose. Inhale, press into cat pose. Broaden the back hemisphere of your body. And exhale, release back to child's pose. Squeeze the exhalation out. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, cow pose. And once more, inhale to cat pose. Exhale, child's pose. And now come up to table pose. And in table pose, walk your right hand well forward of your left hand. Press your fingerprints down into the floor. Reach your hips back. Lower your left elbow. And relax the weight of your head. So this is we call this a one-arm puppy dog pose because we didn't have a better name for it. And as you reach the hips back, you're not taking the hips into child's pose. They're pretty well vertical to your knees. So elongate the right hemisphere of the body, relax the weight of your head, and breathe deeply into your lower abdomen. You can bring in the Ujjayi breath here, so it starts to be an accompaniment in your physical asana pose. With your next inhale, press into table pose. And then step your left hand well forward of your right hand. Press into your fingerprints, reach your hips back, lower your right elbow down, relax the weight of your head. As you draw back with your left hip in this position, use the Ujjayi breath to explore the left hemisphere of the torso. Relax the weight of your head. With the Ujjayi breath, it accompanies the practice, so our mind is drawn into the body, kind of immersed into the inner experience of the body. It also helps to create tone in your physical poses, so this pose should not feel like you're hammocking your chest towards the floor. Notice the tone of the exhale, for example, from the beginning to the end, and we don't wait till the end of the exhale to make the vigorous tone of the exhale. It need not be vigorous right now. Then inhale to table pose. Then curl your toes under and reach up and back into your downward facing dog pose. As you reach back into downward dog pose, elongate your spine, press firmly down from your heart through your arms into your hands, and listen for the Ujjayi breath. Raise your hips high. Reach back through your thighs. If possible, you can bring your heels down towards the floor. If your hamstrings are tight, it's okay to keep the knees bent and to prioritize your spine and your breathing more than your hamstrings. And then exhale, touch your knees down. And sit back in Vajrasana. It's also called thunderbolt pose sometimes, or sometimes it's thought of as Vajrasana, the strength of the Vajra. So rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. And notice how energy is moving now. How have you, in a way, organized the prana in your body over the last few movements in the physical body? Okay, now we're going to take a seat once again for pranayama and meditation. Notice that that particular vignette of physical poses was shorter than the first one because we've kind of gotten the top layer of the tamas of sleep resolved already. So now we take a seat. As you take your seat, again, make it the seat that you can use, be comfortable for pranayama and right into meditation. Now, you've heard me reference a few things this morning, and I've done it a couple of times. One is the inhale goes first third, middle third, upper third of the torso. It's like 3 regions of the inhalation. And I've also said on the exhale, don't over squeeze at the end of the exhale. And that's because when your body's going through the exhale cycle, towards the end of the exhale, your nervous system is preparing for sympathetic arousal during the inhale. And this kind of cadence of the breath and the nervous system, we go a little sympathetic in the inhale, parasympathetic in the exhale. This cadence is called heart rate variability in modern science. In yoga, which is called inhaling and exhaling. But as you're doing it, if you over squeeze at the end of the exhale, like all your vigor is there, you're telling your body to move into sympathetic arousal during the end of the exhale. And the end of the exhale is a time when we actually want to enjoy the transition from the stillness of parasympathetic back into the gentle arc of sympathetic. And then we have a little inhale pause, and we again enjoy the process of dropping down to parasympathetic. So there is tone in the belly. You are using the abdominal muscles to support the exhale. We're just not vigorously squeezing at the end of the exhale like you forgot to tone the belly all the way through the exhale. Okay, so taking a seat, bring your palms out to the side like this. We're going to do a practice with movement, and then we'll do it with stillness. So we go like this. It'll be inhaling to the first third of the torso, the middle third of the torso, and the arms kind of go with that geographically. So middle third of the torso, inhaling to the upper third of the torso. And then we'll be exhaling to come down the center line of the body. You know, even though the hands are coming down like this, the breath is going up and out. It only goes out through the nose. So don't think of exhaling from the top down. Your lungs are not designed that way. We're going to exhale from the bottom out through the nose. Okay, let's do it together. You can use your Ujjayi breath right now. So here's the breath. Inhale. And with your exhale, coming down, do your very best to pace the 3 regions of the inhale to be relatively equal. And do your best to have your inhale and your exhale be equal to each other. So if your count might be inhale 3 for each region of the inhalation, then your exhale is going to be for 9. If when you're inhaling, you have 4 counts to each region of the inhalation, then your exhale is going to be for 12. Of course, if your count is 2 for each part of the inhale, your exhale is going to be for 6. Let's do this now 3 times together in silence. With your hands at rest in your lap, do the same breathing while the arms are not moving. So now you're going to have your body in physical stillness with the same breath. And then you can release the practice and please come to a seat for meditation. When you arrive in your seat for meditation, notice if your mind can be inward, your senses inward, attention inward to the place of mental stillness. And even if there are other thoughts accompanying the space inside, you need not give them attention right now. Imagine them like birds passing through the sky. Rest your attention on the open sky of mental stillness. Encourage your senses not to be pulled into the outside, but to stay inward. Even if thoughts come and go, Imagine them passing through the sky of the mind. Please raise your hands to your heart. May you have glimpsed the inner experience of mental stillness or quiet, at least to some extent here. May you have hope that it's a possibility that you can also return to. Thank you very much. Namaste. I had the opportunity to practice yoga with you while also noticing little flickers of distraction, because this baby panda who's coming my way again was behind me, behind this lamp, behind the altar. There she is now. Then she got behind the curtain and I can hear her possibly making trouble. And then her dad, Nakula, went behind the curtain over here. Normally the curtains are not closed, so they have full access to the bird viewing room. So this is a different orientation for them. So whatever you're practicing in your space with, whatever those distractions are, may they be more minimal distractions, because your concentration deepens, your sense of presence increases. And what you may have to do is practice repeatedly to be able to cultivate that kind of concentration, where some of the ordinary distractions in daily life that might otherwise dysregulate you are not dysregulating when you're practicing. So let me know how it's going. Thanks again. Thank you so much for sharing your morning practice with me and with the community. If you found benefit in this practice, remember to subscribe to the channel. That'll keep us producing more content for you, and you'll get the notifications when the next practice comes out. Also, if you have questions or comments, please leave those down below the video. I do enjoy hearing from you, and I will respond as well as I can. This practice was being offered as a part of our 200-hour yoga teacher training. They're just getting into the understanding of pranayama as a gateway between asana and meditation. If yoga teacher training interests you, please let us know about that as well. You can leave me a comment down below the video. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day.